Echoes of tragedy. Gaza Hospital mass grave shocks the world. A similar incident has unfolded in the outskirts of Aleppo, Syria, where a harrowing discovery has been made by local civil defense workers. According to reports from the Aleppo Civil Defense, a mass grave containing nearly 250 bodies was unearthed at a makeshift medical facility on the outskirts of the war-torn city. Colonel Karim al-Hassan, director of civil defense in Aleppo, stated on Monday that the excavation efforts had revealed a total of 68 bodies, bringing the grim tally to 247. Al-Hassan alleged that many of the bodies showed signs of trauma, with some bearing evidence of being bound and subjected to what appeared to be summary executions. The advanced state of decomposition in most cases has made it difficult to ascertain whether the victims were buried alive or met their fate through other means. However, verification of these claims remains elusive, as independent confirmation of the circumstances surrounding the deaths is challenging amid the ongoing conflict. CNN has reached out to various parties involved, including Syrian government forces and opposition factions, for comment on the discovery of the mass grave and the methods used to identify the deceased. Prior to this discovery, the Aleppo Civil Defense spokesperson, Mahmoud Al-Farouk, had informed CNN that efforts were underway to locate an additional 300 individuals reported missing since the recent escalation of hostilities in the region. Families of the missing have been anxiously awaiting news of their loved ones, many of whom were last seen in areas heavily impacted by the conflict. A CNN correspondent who visited the site described scenes of anguish and despair among those searching for their relatives. Some families recounted burying their deceased kin hastily in the hospital grounds during periods of intense fighting, only to return and find the graves disturbed. It is believed that the bodies were exhumed for forensic purposes, possibly to aid in the identification of missing persons through DNA testing. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty, one grieving father lamented his inability to provide a proper burial for his son, who perished in the violence. "We buried him there, but now he's gone. We just wanted to give him a dignified resting place," he expressed, echoing the sentiments of many others grappling with the profound loss and tragedy that has befallen Aleppo. Similarly, distraught family members in Khan Yunis, Gaza, are grappling with the agony of searching for their loved ones amid the chaos and uncertainty surrounding the recent discovery of the mass grave. One man, whose brother-in-law tragically lost his life in January, shared his heart-wrenching ordeal, stating, "I have been coming here to the hospital for the last 2 weeks, desperately trying to find him. Hopefully, I will be able to locate him." Gesturing toward a fallen palm tree, the man recounted how his brother had been hastily laid to rest in that very spot. "I had buried him there on the side, but I can't find him." The Israelis have disturbed the resting place of the deceased, conducting DNA tests and causing confusion among the grave sites, he lamented, his voice tinged with frustration and sorrow. Echoing his sentiments, the man's mother expressed the anguish of their fruitless search, spanning 2 agonizing weeks without any sign of closure. Another grieving mother shared a similar plight, recounting her relentless quest spanning 10 days to locate the remains of her daughter. The young woman had tragically perished and was laid to rest in the hospital grounds following an airstrike that devastated their residential neighborhood in late January. The anguish and confusion among families in Khan Yunis, Gaza, continue to intensify as more disturbing details emerge regarding the handling of the deceased. A grieving mother spoke out, alleging, "The Israelis have disturbed the resting places of the dead, swapping bodies. My daughter and her uncle's wife were laid to rest simultaneously. Despite their relentless efforts, only one body has been located thus far. We have found the body of her uncle's wife, but the whereabouts of the others remain unknown," she added, her voice trembling with sorrow and frustration. Raid Sakr, a spokesperson for the civil defense, provided an update on the ongoing search efforts, revealing that personnel had been scouring the medical complex for 3 days with no end in sight. "We are faced with the daunting task of locating the remaining bodies amidst the chaos and devastation," Sakr stated, underscoring the enormity of the challenge ahead. The Israel Defense Forces, IDF, have acknowledged the removal of numerous bodies from Gaza for DNA testing in Israel, citing security reasons. However, the manner in which these operations were conducted has sparked outrage and raised questions about the handling of the deceased. The Nasser Medical Complex, once a beacon of hope for the community, now stands as a grim reminder of the violence and destruction that ravaged the region during the tumultuous months of January and February. The scars of intense bombardment and combat serve as a haunting backdrop to the ongoing search for closure and justice for the families left shattered by the tragedy.